Hello, welcome to the Land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. So I had two requests lately. One was for a walkthrough of the activities in my McGuffey Spelling Level 1, and another one was for just kind of, I think, an overview of language arts for a first grader. So I'm going to try to address those two things in this video. So first, I'm just going to show you basically my whole little language arts stack of goodies that I use with my first grader. He's 6. We're still, what is this? Today is actually Thanksgiving. So that's where we are in the school year, if you're wondering. I will link to videos that I've done that are kind of like more in depth on my son's reader's companion notebook. And then I will walk you through, I will like sit down at my desk and walk you through the daily activities and kind of do some like on the spot, maybe like instruction or teaching for how I use that resource. So basically I have 3 things to show you. So one pile is my reading and basically handwriting. That's what we're mostly focusing on, right? Reading, handwriting, maybe like the very, very beginnings of grammar. So my lead is my McGuffey Eclectic Primer. And then I use my Phonics Made Plain flashcards with my reader and my reading and writing companion notebook. So I've gone over a lot of reading lessons and stuff like that. Like I said, I'll link in the description box a recent reading lesson I did. But what the companion notebook is going to have in it is, this matches up with the revised McGuffey Primer exactly, but it's going to have the new or review, sometimes a review lessons, like phonics, right? So phonograms. It'll have the words for the lesson. So you can look for those like patterns, and it will be copy work with model handwriting for him. And sometimes there's a place to draw too. I like to use that, as an aid for like reading comprehension. And I do use the principles in my language arts bookmarks, but a lot of that stuff is already, like I have what I call mama notes at the bottom. And there's certain things you may want to point out, like what is an exclamation point and the use of that. I would say before I started the primer and started into this, we did just learn our basic A through Z and all the sounds of the letters. And, we did handwriting practice. I'll link to some of that stuff too. So, if we were practicing the sounds of A, we would also be practicing writing the letter A, stuff like that. We played a lot of memory to recognize the letters in different fonts and stuff like that. So there was like prep work. There was like pre-reading work that we did prior to, and we did that, through preschool and prior to starting the primer. And we did try to teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. He just did not take to that program. So we just were like, fine. I think I got about halfway through and it was like kind of making it miserable. So I just switched, let's just start into the McGuffies. And because he was a little bit of a reluctant reader, he's actually always liked writing more than he liked reading. We actually ended up starting over this year. Like everything we'd done in the primer in kindergarten, I just restarted the whole primer this year, and it's been going a lot better. So things don't always go perfectly, magically smoothly. Like one kid doesn't have the exact same trajectory as like their brother or sister. So I just thought I would just share for encouragement purposes. It may not be, I may have been just starting things a little too early for him, So I just backed up and started over, and now we're doing great. So these are my reading and writing and, baby steps into grammar, like understanding mostly just punctuation, like the basic punctuation at this point, and what they mean and how you would read them. And then for spelling, we are using McGuffey Spelling Level 1. We're using this workbook. There's a printable, like a PDF version of this. This is if you want to get it just pre-printed as a workbook off of Amazon. And it's built off of the word list from McGuffey's Eclectic Spelling Book, the revised edition. This is what I'm going to take you through today at the end of this video. Some other things I just have on hand with that are, so the printable version of that program comes with word flashcards, and I just write what lesson they go to on the back. But I just pull these out. I it's part of your prep period for the year. You print these all out, cut them out, and I just put them, I have a box I put them in. And I'll link to all that stuff for you if you would like to see it. But yeah, we play like memory a lot with these. And then also I have these like puzzles that I made to go with the primer. So, you know, if he can read the word, I'll like lay them out, cars, then he gets to flip it over. And at the end, you know, he'll put together the puzzle. And that's kind of how I like to like do that, like on the first day of a new lesson. It's kind of fun to focus more on the word level for the day. Some other things that I have, I don't always use them, but sometimes I just want to mix things up a little bit. I may pull out this. It says Back to Basics, Magnetic Phonetics. And I'll link this to you. I just bought this on Amazon. You can see how they can build words. A while back, I made one. This was like a printable one. I think I got this off of TPT. I made it into a file, my phonics file. I think I did a whole video where I was building it. I'll try to find it and link it for you. I think there was 2 versions. And I actually like this one better. The only thing is the little Velcro things are like, I don't know, they just kind of are cumbersome. The magnetic tiles are a lot easier to move around. But yeah, these are something that's kind of nice if you just need to break up the routine. This week was, Thanksgiving week. And so I had kind of a different strategy for the week. And I wanted to really focus. I've talked recently about push subjects. I'm like on a big push in math for my 8th grader right now. And he also had like an essay he needed to rewrite this week. Plus he had one he was starting for his writing class. So I was like, I needed to like sit down with him this week. I was like, this is a Thanksgiving week. It's a good week to like let the other 2, I am not one to let them just do nothing, just watch TV all day or be going nuts, right, around the house. This is going to stress me out. I like to give a little something to do. And also so they don't lose like their momentum. So I had the littles do my 4th and 1st grader. 4th grader, he's had to do his math lesson and he had to read his like independent reading book. That's all he had to do this week each day. And he has to do like a little summary on what he read on his bookmark. For my youngest, so he had to do a little bit of like a math worksheet or 2 I had for him. And then I had him do, I picked up this set, these Dash Into Learning, like really beginner books. I had him just sit down in one of the comfy chairs. Where are they? I call those the comfy chairs back there. And with his whisper phone, so he could quietly, I wanted him to master the first book, Lots of Pups. So he was just to sit there and read this to himself, right? He can whisper it right quietly so he can listen to himself, hear himself reading. And then I just did, it's still on the board. We just made some lines on the chalkboard and had him copy. I think he did the first 2 pages for copy work like that day. Right? And then I had him come read it to me, right? And if he was struggling with it, I told him he had to do it again the next day. But that's all he had to do for the week. So I don't know, sometimes it's just kind of nice to have something that you do as a backup, something different. So that's what we were choosing this week. Okay, I'm going to take you over to the desk and let's go through those spelling lessons. All right, welcome to McGuffey Spelling Level 1. I want to say, so Bo, I'm starting him in 1st grade with this, but like William, I didn't start him till 2nd grade on this. So, but I think I probably could have started him on 1st grade. I was just still kind of figuring out stuff. Yeah, it really just depends on the kid. I think it's okay to delay spelling and make sure you have kind of like a reading foundation. Oh, I should write down this is grade. All right. So it does include a how to use this book, kind of like, day by day. I kind of set it up like a 6-day, but you can combine days. You can skip activities you don't want to do. You actually could use this whole book. All of my books in this series, you can basically use with any spelling list you want. You could change out if you like the activities and you like the pages, but you want a different spelling list, you could. All right, I did this last time. For those of you that own this level, and we're wondering which lessons from this spelling book these lists came from, I'm going to tell you real quick, okay? So lessons 1 through 6 are actually all from lesson 1 of the McGuffey Spelling Book. Lessons 7 through 14 are from lesson 2. Lessons 15 through 18 are from lessons 3. Lessons 19 through 23 are from lessons 4. Lessons 24 through 28 are from lesson 5. And lessons 29 and 30 are from lesson 6. And then there are 3 review lessons where I pulled words from lessons 1 through 10, 11 through 20, and 21 through 30. If you're wondering what kind of words this program is going to, go over with your kids, it's going to go from, I'm going to read these through the review lessons, okay? It'll be a good sampling. Am, sad, rap, bed, leg, fell, bell, went, is, tip, fix, six, rig, fib, on, ox. God, box, mop, jot, mug, sung, gush, man, lap, get, peg, had, tub, help, date, page. Mile, code, lure, dune, crab, hump, best, chip, whip, king, shot, bump, card, heat, bang, dark. All right, analyze words day. So this is, you're going to count the sounds, write the blanks, fill in the blanks with phonograms dictated by teacher, right? So I start just by reading the word, like am. Oh, and this is how I keep track of my words. I keep a list. I'm photocopied the spelling list, right? And I keep it here, and I just highlight the next one that I'm on. But I use this as our bookmark, and it helps me to, like, when I'm dictating words to him and stuff. And then just a little tour of the book. In the back, you have spelling vocabulary, like what are diacritics, what's a phoneme, a phonogram, diphthong, vowel teams, consonant, syllable, vowels, accent or stress, homophone, homograph, homonyms, VC or CVC word. Then there are spelling rules. How many does this one have? I have 31 in here. I don't know, this might be an older version because sometimes I add in rules because I think I'm up to 33 rules in my spelling flashcard deck. But I'm sure they probably won't need the later ones in level 1 anyways. But yeah, I also use, my spelling flashcards, which have a lot of they have those same vocabulary words and rules within that printable set. It's nice because you can make like a set for each kid that you have. They can have their own. All right, that's what this one has in the back of it. And then let's just go through the general. This is where Bo is right now. In general, okay, there is an analyze words day. So a lot of times I'll do this analyze words and write the words 3 times on the same day a lot of times. And then there's a write word sentences where they're filling in, and these should just be in the same order as the words. And then there's draw word sentences, pick words you didn't know the meaning of and draw their sentences as pictures. Write the word in the picture box here. A lot of times these are also 2 activities that I may double up. It's like I noticed that there was a word they didn't quite know what it meant here. Now they have like a reference sentence to give them a picture. They could draw that. Word pyramids. This is a really nice like review day, right? And pattern sort. So they're going to write their words. They're going to sort them into patterns. Some will fall into more than one. We'll go over some of those. Rainbow words, stamp or rainbow, write the words, clap or tap syllables as you read them. We'll go over that. And then the spelling test day. And then explore and correct. So anything they got wrong, I like to have space where we can like do work here to address that. I was going to show you. Bo is like obsessed with trophies. So something I did do is I just went on Canva and made a whole sheet of little trophies. And then I just like pre-cut them out. I just keep them. I have like, my magnifying glass on the desk, but they just stay there. But when he gets like 100% on a spelling test, he gets one of these and he can glue it in or tape it in. And he's like, it's so funny how much he's motivated to earn a trophy. It's so cute. We also had, I used to have on the wall, I had like his trophy case. And so when he earned trophies, he'd put them on his little trophy case. And when it got full, we got to like do something. But right now we're just putting them in here. Anyway, so that's the basic activities. That's the book. Let's go back through some that we have done and I'll walk you through them. There's a lot of CVC, like VC and CVC words in this level. Like, we're like all spelling programs start out. I'm going to try to go back. Let me go back to where I started teaching him. Because sometimes you just are like, if you are teaching CVC words and stuff, that pattern, it behooved them to know what a consonant and a vowel is. I know at some point I started we need to work on that concept, right? Here's one. Let me see what we're doing on day 1. And this is how I like to keep track of for my recording purposes. I'll write L2, lesson 2, colon, and then the day. Right, so this would be lesson 2, day 1. We did the analyze the words. I just made a note. These are all going over the short A sound, and they were all CVC words. So I would say sad. We'd count the sounds. S, a, d, right? We'd write 3. There's 3 phonemes there, 3 individual units of sound. The smallest unit of sound you can get. Then we go S is S, A is A, D is D. And since he does know that there's a long A, a short A, and a broad A, I just start teaching him right away the breve to note that this is a short A that sounds like A. The McGuffey readers we use have those diacritical marks. They are included in the spelling book. So we just use them during spelling practice. So we did that day 1. Also on day 1, I think I had him go ahead, and write the words 3 times, spelling aloud as you write. So I'd probably actually have him go sound it out, S, A, D, and then I'd say spell it out, S, A, D. And then I just started telling him this is a consonant sound, A is a vowel sound, D is a consonant sound. And so he actually went through and also started labeling each letter. I just made a note to myself. I did sound it out, right? We sounded it out. So he spelled it out and then read it and write it. Read it, sad, and write sad as a whole word. Okay, so day 2, I will go along with him and read this. You cry when you are sad. And he writes in sad. And I find it helpful to check off the ones he's put in so he doesn't lose track of where he is. And then we picked a couple like sap, gap, gag, hag, and ban. This one, this had a lot of vocabulary in it for him, and he did some pictures for me here also on that same day. This goes back to, I think this day is actually really important, and I wouldn't skip it because from what I've heard, what current research says, kids remember words better when they're in context. So I want to make sure that we are getting a chance to use the words in context. Yeah, build word pyramids, S, S-A, S-A-D, right? And I usually have them go S, sa, sad, right? S, sa, sap. Also gets more blending practice that way. Here's our pattern sort day. So the rule here, these are CVC pattern words, right? Consonant, vowel, consonant. Anything like a vowel, consonant, or consonant, vowel, consonant word, when these are single syllable words, they're closed syllables because they've got a consonant closing off a single vowel. So therefore, the vowel is always short. And I just start telling them, I don't expect them to remember, but they will get this so many times in this level, that they'll eventually remember. And I just started telling them vowels are, the A, E, I, O, and U sounds, for all intents and purposes for this level. How many vowel sounds do we have? We have 15 vowel sounds or something like that total. But he could at least know A, A, E, I, O, U, U, and then Y is Y, but I, E, right? So if you hear those sounds, and we talk about how a vowel sound is unobstructed by teeth or lips or anything, you could shout a vowel sound, the different ways to kind of play around with them, getting them to understand how vowel sounds, your mouth is usually going to be open without your teeth or your tongue or your lips or anything in the way. Or you can have them do the chin test where you take your hand like this and they put it under their little chin. And then when they say cat, when they say their chin hits, their mouth opens, it hits their hand. So that's another way to count how many vowels you are in a word, right? But if we said catamaran, it's a catamaran, 4 vowel sounds, right? Coincidentally, also 4 syllables, because for every syllable, there's 1 vowel sound. Anyway, so you can start using those teaching techniques, right? Teaching their vowels. Everything else is a consonant. I think I literally just went through all the sounds of the alphabet. I was like, is that a vowel or consonant, right? It's a vowel, right here. B, was that a vowel or consonant sound? That, my mouth, B, my lips closed, that's a consonant. So this day, I remember this day specifically because we spent a long time on this day covering this concept. So then we went through and did these words, which ones match, right? I don't think anybody explained any of that to me when I was a kid. We would just we were just expected to, we just memorize these are vowel letters and these are consonant letters. And it served me pretty well, I guess. They were definitely taking a shortcut. So there was less focus on understanding our language when I was in school, but there was no why behind it. It was like, just memorize it, just cause, you know? I'm taking a little bit more of a different approach. I do think there is, though, room for, like, at certain developmental stages and times, just memorizing stuff to a certain point, too. All right, so rainbow words. So he always likes this day because we can use stamps or rainbow write our words. I will say we have stamped. We have a alphabet stamp. It just takes a long time. It's faster just to use pencils or pens or something. So we typically do that. You can do every word a different color. You can do or each word its own different color. We're getting some handwriting practice. We are still sounding it out, right? So you can see I just wrote one syllable. So I have been teaching him to clap or tap the syllables as you read them, right? So this is another chance to go over what is a vowel sound. For every syllable in a word, a syllable is, what is a syllable, right? You'll have it in the back of the book too. Syllable. It literally means together with, a part of a word that contains a single vowel sound and that is pronounced as a unit. Like this word's like consonant. 3 syllables. We say consonant, right? With 1 syllable. And we've done lots of practice. Like this is a fun day to, when you're teaching them what a syllable is remember teaching the claps, consonant, right? Well, we'd go around with our names. We'd go like everybody in the family, like Beauregard has a good one. He's like Beauregard. That's 3 syllables. My other son, Everett, 2. William, 2. Our last name is Page. Page, 1. So I think it's fine to start them out with the tap or clap method so they can just kind of hear them. But you're going to want to lead them so that they're not making mistakes, obviously. They won't know where to put the beat. They won't know how to do that unless you lead them through it. But so right now, we've been leading through. These are all single syllable words. But, I may tell him, what if we want to change this from sad to he's the saddest boy, right? Saddest. What if we changed it to that word? Saddest, too, right? All right, so that's where I like to start them with syllables. I start just telling them what a syllable means. I don't make them responsible for that information, though. Like, they don't have to know it or, know that definition. But I want to implant that there are reasons why things are the way they are, so they don't feel like nothing makes sense and it's all just arbitrary and you just have to memorize. I think I'm planting seeds at this point. Okay, and obviously a spelling test day. I'm just going to, dictate it and check it. And hopefully he gets his trophy, right? And I also tell him, handwriting counts in spelling. Anything that's writing, it's our schoolwork. I expect best handwriting that you can muster. So really, let me see. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I can show you. Oh yeah, I may say notice things like this, like cap. You guys may be familiar with the kiss the cat rule, right? Kiss, kite, kind. I'm thinking of all the words that start with k. Like you ask them, does it start with a C or a K? If the next sound after the k is an A, O, or U sound, you start with a C. If the next sound is an I or an E sound, you start with K. So that was just me telling him that rule right there. I mean, this is a really gentle spelling program, but it does help reinforce their reading also, their handwriting, their understanding of our language. They're getting vocabulary in here. Sometimes there's words like beg. I would say this word beg and leg, where the E sounds like A, right? I don't say beg and leg, but this is a good opportunity. Sometimes we, in modern speech, are pronouncing words a certain way, but it has a spelling that reflected probably how they pronounced it in the past. So it probably was pronounced beg. So the spelling has remained the same, but we just now say it as modern speakers beg, right? And there's a lot of things like that in our language that probably that's how they used to say it, but we just say it different now because language just accents evolve. He's so funny. He starts like he likes to do we start practicing the labeling consonant, vowel, consonant. That's a short vowel pattern, right? Here we are getting into floss words, right? If a single syllable word with only one vowel sound ends in a f, ol, or s, and sometimes z also, we double it. So sell, single syllable, short vowel followed by the ol, we double the L. That's a really common, the floss pattern. And floss itself is a floss word. It follows that pattern. And then this list also had the ST blend there. So here we actually got to one where we had more than one spelling pattern present. So we broke it up into what are the CVC words, what were the floss words, and these words that they were obviously introducing the ST blend. I just call these are phonetic. All the sounds are making their first normal, most common sound. Okay, looks like again, right, I decided we needed to review what are consonant sounds and vowel sounds, the VC and CVC patterns, short vowels, right? We practiced those. And this particular lesson is focusing on the short I sound. Yeah, sometimes I felt like he was pretty good with those words. I'm like, you don't need to write it 3 times, just do it 1 time. It's fine. Looks like we skipped that one. There are times where I'm like, okay, this list was easy enough. I think we skipped straight to the spelling test. Right, I like to see this one. This is just an extra something we added on with the diacritics and the labeling, the sound type. Yeah, sometimes like you can skip it. If he knew what all these words meant, I don't necessarily make him draw. I'm not about unnecessary busy work. Here's one where I thought it was helpful to, you can see I'm still bringing him back to, he hasn't quite mastered what's a consonant, what's a vowel necessarily. I want you to see it. That these words all are CVC words. These are consonant sounds, right? The short I is obviously a vowel sound, and these are all consonant sounds. And we would make all those sounds also. Yeah, here's one. See, we started to do the stamp, and he's like, it's taking too long. Like, just switch. So this first part of the program is really focusing on vowel sounds and consonant sounds at the individual level. So here we did that one again. And then, yeah, 1 syllable you can put right there. So I think these are all still on pretty much CVC words. Let me see. Did we get to A? So we do, okay, by lesson 19, we start adding on the silent E rule, right? Part of the rule that it makes the vowel long. We have vowel teams here, the double E, right, which he's already been reading the double E, so this won't be new information to him, but he'll be, he'll be using it in his own spelling this time. We have more silent E with they're pairing it with different vowel sounds, right? They're working on what is a long I now, what is a long O. Lure, long U, soft G. That E is going to soften the G and make the U long. And we even have a UE, Q, does it say U? Yeah, U. Here we've got the SH. We've got the CH. More, okay, SH, WH. WH is fun because it could say, I know that in my phonics made playing cards, I think it says W, but that's not true actually. I wrote on my back because WH also it says W and it says H. It depends on what the next sound is. So like in what, when, why, where, WH makes the W sound. But in who, whom, right, it makes the H, whose. Here we got the ing, the ing here, ing, sh. Yeah, we're working in more blends. We've got the LK, MP. Now we've got the R-controlled vowel, AR. And we've got the vowel team EA saying E. And then here we got ang, ank, silent E. So, pretty good for first grade, right? And it's going to reinforce things. He's already been reading those, but he's going to see them again now because the spelling is trailing his reading level, which I think is normal. if I like waited for him to be able to spell everything he could read. I noticed when I was studying the Eclectic Manual of Methods, which was written to tell people back in the day how to use the McGuffey readers and all their suite of products that they were using at the time, like I think even like Raise Arithmetic and stuff like that. It was telling them that they were using the books in the reader, which I think are just two. I like how the books in the spelling book are more closely related. The books in the reader are more varied, so I don't think that they worked as well for spelling. And that's why I chose to make a separate spelling program based off of these words. They were saying that basically to stay on a lesson or whatever in the reader until they could spell everything. They knew the spell like that they were reading. And I was like, we would be on the same lesson forever. Or I felt like they would just be memorizing that word. They'd be memorizing it and not so much understanding spelling patterns and spelling rules and things like that. And I don't know, because it was only like a single word, I don't know that they wouldn't just memorize it as a single word. And I wanted them to a program that focused on spelling patterns and spelling rules and like phonics. Because then once you learn that pattern or rule and you see it on multiple words, hopefully you can extend that out as a general principle that you can apply to other, as you are hearing new words, maybe you haven't seen them as much, but anyways, I was hoping that just made more sense to me to study it that way. So I hope that answered your questions about how we're doing first grade language arts. And let me know if you have any questions down below. I'll link everything I talked about today in the description box so you can check it out. And let me know. I've been considering making a little video series on syllable types. I feel like that's something that I had to sit down and like study it myself. Nobody ever taught me that like in school. It wasn't like part of my general knowledge. And so if that's something you'd like to see me make, a video series on syllable types and breaking those down, leave me a comment. Just say, yeah, syllable type video, and I'll make that for you. Okay, bye.